Hi, I'm Mike Squires. I was born in Stamford, Connecticut, and I'm a videographer.
What made you become a videographer?
Well, back in 5th, 6th grade, it's pretty funny because I wanted my dad to film a soccer game I was playing, and at the time I was playing soccer very often, every weekend type thing, and I was always on a team. But I asked him to film the game, and when I went home to review the footage, it was garbage. It was like an hour and a half of just grass and my dad screaming. So as a 5th, 6th grader, I was upset. I was pretty upset. So I remember asking my mom to buy me a camera, and it was nothing expensive, just a cheap camera, like a little flip cam that went out. But I was able to shoot a lot of my soccer games and stuff like that, which was definitely cool, just to show my friends because I was doing all crazy tricks at the time. And then as I progressed, I got more interested in camera work, and I also had a phase with reptiles, so I would film my reptiles, not to be weird or anything, but care videos and tutorials online. So I really started with tutorial videos, and that channel did really successful. They're still on the internet, but I'm not going to tell you where they are because looking back, they're kind of embarrassing. You hear my 7th grader voice. I think the biggest turning point where I knew this is what I wanted to do is when I had a science project in 8th grade with my friend Nick. We were partnered up, and we did a video on the Apollo 11, and my school loved it. It was kind of like my 15 minutes of fame. Nick and I don't know, we just had a blast. Everyone kept coming up to us that day and we're we saw the video, it was fantastic, and I don't know, we felt popular. We weren't necessarily the coolest kids either, so it was definitely cool to see everyone's reaction. But then as time went on, we were well, if we could do it once, maybe we could do it again. So from that, we started something called Mike Squires TV. I started something called Mike Squires TV, which was me, my homie Nick, Enrico, Kevin, and we really just put together a bunch of comedy skits. Now, a lot of them are just stupid. That's how I describe them, for lack of a better word. But, we experimented with the camera, and we really got a sense of what we were trying to do. Now, this is around, I'd say, right before high school. So when I got to high school, I was still doing my comedy skits during my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, I had a homie, Liam McCarthy, shout out Liam one time, asked me if I wanted to go to this concert to shoot an interview. So I shot an interview with an artist named Mike Stud, and at that concert I was able to network with people. So I networked with a promoter at the time, he's still promoting, but Dave. And Dave hooked it up. He hired me for a bunch of shows. With him, I shot for Kid Ink, I shot for YG and Tyga, I shot for, I don't know, I think those are really it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember we had 4 or 5 Kid Ink shows together, so that was definitely cool. So that was the time where I started Squires Entertainment. It was the fall of 2011, September 6th, 2011, yeah. So that's when I came up with the idea, and at the time I had no idea what it was going to be, at all. Originally I thought I was just going to continue doing comedy skits, and the first video put out on Squires Entertainment was January 1st, 2012, and it was a comedy skit, but it's been taken down now, because later on, like literally later in January, I had one of my friends from my high school hit me up and he's like, "Hey, I seen you do video work. Have you ever considered shooting a music video?" And mind you, this is something I've never done before. So I was like, sure. So we went to the city and we shot this music video. Dreaming was the name of the song, with my friend Pimo, which you could still find online and on my website. But it was kind of like a turning point for me, because it showed me how many people were interested in getting music videos done. Because soon after that, I worked with an artist named Animal Lecter, and we put 2 videos together, I think, around that time. We shot and edited 2 videos, and then from there it just kept on expanding, because I was getting self-promotion from the videos I was already putting out, and then it was just kind of kept branching off. So I'd had people hit me up for a video. So like, I remember shooting with the Red Baron, who hit me up after working with Animal Lecter, and then those artists would promote their videos and people would be like, well, who shot their video? And it would lead back to me, so I'd just have more people coming in just talking about me. And eventually I went to a concert, shout out Liam McCarthy, because he took us to the show in Danbury, which was Big Sean, and I really met a lot of good people there, like a lot of good connections. I met Dave, he's a promoter, he's been good. He booked me for a few shows. I shot a few Kid Ink shows with him, Tygo YG up in Rhode Island, so that was cool. But in the long run, now I'm working for Tuxedo Junction in Danbury, and Ian, one of the people who was working on the the Big Sean show, is now running Tuxedo Junction, putting on those. So I mean, it's weird how like similar Ian's path and mine has been. Like, we didn't even know each other at the time till really the top of this year. So I mean, it was really interesting, because now with Ian I've shot for like all the shows. I've shot GTA, Conga Rock, I've shot Blau, Chris Webby, The Chainsmokers, Zed's Dead. I could just keep going on. I mean, literally, it's been amazing. The advice that I'd give to people looking to do something like I would do, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm in a position where I'm where I want to be yet, but I would say just don't get discouraged. I mean, there's a lot of people who won't believe in you, who will hate you, try to put you down, but you gotta realize that you're your own person, and you just gotta do what makes you happy, you know? You're not trying to please anybody else. I mean, coming from somebody who does, like, I put my heart into what I do, honestly. Like, if I'm not doing something like school-related, family-related, I mean, I'm working, you know what I mean? I've put in countless hours editing, just making connections, just trying to figure things out and try to expand myself as a videographer too. Because I want to be able to put out a product that people like and enjoy, and I really try to get a similar feeling to that first time when I was in my science class, you know, how everyone was so amazed. So my advice, how to reflect this to other people, just put out something that you like first, and then you can look at what people think, you know? Because if you're not satisfied with something, how is somebody else? You know what I mean? But you are your own worst judge, you know? So it really just depends. But what I'm just trying to say is be true to yourself.